Well, we start off this film with the Tumps at Siston Common. We always called it the Tumps when we were kids. It's the old tramway what runs across there. These Tumps were formed a lot by the Second World War as a landmine dropped on here. Huge German landmine. It blew a huge hole up in the ground. It took loads and loads of hours, months to fill it up again. So right you're looking now, used to be a big hole. Blew all the pit props out and broke all the windows in the local houses for miles around. A little bit of history there. Heading north now and to Jim Barn. I think Harry Hobbs once owned that barn. Harry Hobbs was a coalman, local coalman, huge guy, strong as an ox. It was once said that he had a bet that he could carry a bag of coal around the common, right round the common, Anchor Road, Fisher Road, and back again, and he won the bet. And he came to a demise on this bit of road here. He got hit by a car and killed, unfortunately. But anyway, bit of local history here. Heading over towards the woods now. A little wood there. The other side of this used to be like a big bit of a hole in the ground that's filled in later years. And there used to be a row of cottages over on the main road. They're all demolished and gone now. Champion Road, Anchor Road. Right, Felicity Park and the pond, and back to the Tumps again. There's the old Horseshoe pub we used to meet years ago on motorcycles and cause havoc and race around as kids do. This field here to the right of the brook, there used to be an air raid shelter. That's where my mother used to get in the Second World War. And the planes would come over, sirens would go, and they'd run and get down this air raid shelter. This here, I can remember when it used to be a road. And we used to sit on top of Thames when we were kids and watch the Hells Angels that go by on their bikes going up to the cafe at Staple Hill. Our coming up interview now is Mr. Piles' house. And the guy used to have a horse and cart and used to drag it down the road and sell vegetables and that off of it. I don't want to impose too much on people's back gardens, but it's a bit unavoidable sometimes. Oh yes, Mr. Turner's farm. He used to have a big herd of cattle and he used to graze all over the common, and he used to take them round into the field and the back and that, and they used to go up the roads and chew people's roses up and that, and people would chase them out. That's the Royals farm there. That used to be a horse riding stables. I used to do a bit of help out there years ago. In amongst those trees is the Mayfair Youth Club. This white house here on the right is where I was brought up to. Common was my playground for years. The field behind that field there used to be a tip. And before that there's a cottage out there with an old man used to live in. And there's a spring in the middle of it, and the spring now is blocked off, and there's a pipe going into the brook, which is pure spring water. We used to drink it when we were kids. heading up towards Turner's Farms. Now all the big sheds and that used to be out the back of there, the milking sheds now, isn't it? They made it into like a farm shop. And it had done really well for years, but in the end, he's got the bottom of them, and the father died, and they just sold up in the end. Shame really, because we used to like went out there and get me potatoes, some veg in that. Well, some new houses that has recently been built over the back there. They seem to get out in wherever they can on the common. They know they can get good bucks for it. There's a lane there, a public footpath goes along between these bungalows. It takes you over. It used to take you over to the old railway, and there's a railway crossing back there. Cross over there, and there's a lane that goes up the side of the tip. And we used to go up there years ago when we was kids. The ring road there, that's built on the railway, what used to connect Anglesfield and Warmley up together. Great London Railway. The Fisher Road Crossroads. Over in the background is the grammar school. We'll see a bit more of that later. On top of the hill on the left hand side we just make out Cosham Hospital, which is the highest point in Bristol. I go there about once every 3 months for a CT scan. But that's about it for this side of the common. We sort of cycle up to the upper common. Across the bridge, there used to be a stone bridge here, and when we were kids we used to get on the stone bridge, look over and watch the steam trains go underneath, and all the smoke used to come up all around you and the steam. But we're at the Siston Hill now, heading south. Sorry about the helicopter in the background. Right, climbing up a little bit. This was taken last autumn, and it captured lovely the colour of the trees and the autumn colours. The field at the back is all part of the Kingswood Forest. This part here coming up now is what we used to call Lover's Dip, for obvious reasons, and when we were kids we used to go out there trying to spy and top end of Siston Hill. Well, this is a fire thing they made to celebrate. It's like a fire in there to celebrate signals around the country. And that field you're looking at on the right now is where all the cows were buried when they caught anthrax. They're all buried in there in line, but it stays active for hundreds of years, so you can never build on it. Now, years ago, these buildings on the right, we see them in the minute, used to belong to the Lombards. That's the radio tower for the telephones. That's the boarding kennels. I think it's Sunnyview boarding kennels. And in the background, there's a industrial business area up on a hill. And coming around that building, there's the tip. See, it's filmed in 4K. If you can watch it on a big, 50-inch screen or something, it's quite. It brings out a lot of details. All rusty sheds are looking a bit of a mess nowadays, but no doubt they get around to clearing it out when they can. There's a ring road towards heading south towards Wormley Roundabout, and beyond that it goes up to the Farabout Roundabout and on to the Asda Roundabout. These drones cover like a large area pretty quick, so what you can film is only so much you can see, but we'll take it out of 400 feet in a minute. It gets a bit more interesting. Here we go. We're levelling off at 120 meters, which is 400 feet, which is the maximum I'm allowed to fly. You see the field it made forever. We'll have a fly around there later on. You see the fire station. And coming into view now from the left is the grammar school. Remember years ago when it caught fire and there's a hell of a heat coming off of it. It's a little bit better view of the Wormley Roundabout now and the road going up to the Farabout. And the cycle track's going along there now, over the bridge, down under the tunnel and along to the cafe in the station. In the background, I call it the Mother's Pride Estate. That's like a business estate there, where the old Mother's Pride factory used to be. You see Kelston Hill in the background, Kelston Ring. That's the lower south common there. We'll have a look at that in a minute, a bit closer. I think the common was never going to be the same once they put this ring road through the middle of it, which is understandable, you know, really, because the railway was there, but it certainly cut the common in half. Hasn't changed much here in this part of the common for donkey years now, apart from the trees getting a lot thicker and taller. Love some of the houses on the common now. You'll have a closer look at them later on in the next bit of the video. There used to be a pigsty behind those trees there years ago. I can't remember the guy's name now, but he used to keep pigs down there and he used to take the piss out of him a little bit, and you know, he used to chase us when we was kids. Right, we jumped across the ring road at the moment. Nice open views across the common. Right in the background in the centre of the picture now is Webb's Heath, which we'll be visiting later on in the film. That little track we see here, and that used to lead up to the pigsty and that years ago. Well, they're climbing up for the last time on this part of the common. On a clear day, I think you can make it out. You can see the 7 bridge pillars. That white thing sticking out on that big screen. You probably see it. But that is South Wales over there in the background. Black Mountains. As we come around, you've got the Mendips in the background in Hartcliffe and Dundry Hill. That's the Firework Close estate. And you see the firework factory. You see that better in a minute on the next bit of the video. That's Warmley Forest Park on the left coming into view. most of this common, this area we're looking at now, is under threat. Eventually, I suppose a lot of that will be built on. This is such a shame, really. You got this industrial estate over Mill Farm. It looks a bit of a mess, really, but progress, I suppose, that sprang up, or seemed to spring up. I didn't even know it was there, but not until I had a drone. Years ago, Steve, can't remember his name now out there now, but we used to keep when I was in the motocross club, we used to keep our equipment out there. Shortwood Golf Course, that's another place threatened. Building. You see the Churcher's yard and the bit to the left of it. That always used to be like boggy now, you know, try and get our push bikes across and you get bogged down in horrible black gooey mud, probably from the firmed waste. And that's the cycle track which I often go down on my bike. Interesting tracks where people walk along. And that's it for this part of the common. Going into land. Now we just pop down to May Forever. It used to be a village, it's all part of Kingswood that now. This is a field beyond Kings Meadow Centre. We're known to older people as the May Forever Youth Club. This was my playground when I was a child. What mischief and trouble we can get into. Coming into view shortly, it'll be Siston Brook. Years ago, when I was very young, it used to be a lot deeper than that until then they had a flood one day. Down at Willsbridge, the dam burst and it dropped the levels right down to what it is today. But it looks like they're finally trying to cut a path along there, which would be nice. I love walking along the side of the brook. All this scrub here is a bit of a waste really, but I suppose there's a lot of wildlife in there. It's hard walking across it. Actually noticed rabbits up there now and again running around. When I was a child, I never seen rabbits on the common. Seen quite a lot of stuff, but I can never remember seeing rabbits up there. There was some at the very top of the common, but I have recently seen rabbits down this part of the common. There's certainly deer out there and the odd badger. Towards Kings Meadow Centre. There used to be a field behind there with a hedge there, and the youth club was in there as an old tin building. I remember going in there to discos and things like that. quite convenient having it on the doorstep, really. But I still go out there on a Tuesday. Go out there for a cup of tea with a few mates and have a laugh and that. That's Tennis Court Road behind. That's Fisher Road. This blue building used to be a cottage years ago with a flat roof. Mr. Palmer used to own it. It's all expanded now. It's now a day nursery. That's the bridge near the ring road. That's what used to be the Anchor Pub at New Chatham Road. I think that's a nursery now as well. And you've got Holly Hill Road going up. Dawn Rise, where my wife lived when she was single. And I think that wraps up Made Forever. So have a quick spin across the grass. Now we jumped over to the South Lower Common. We used to, the gate in the corner in the middle of the film now, we used to lead into the quarries years ago. And there used to be like two lakes, well, one big lake down there and a little pond down there. We used to go down there catching newts and fish and that, and we used to take push bikes and dare each other right down into the ground. There's a hole there about 100 foot deep and about 300-400 foot across, and we used to ride down on push bikes. Bit airy. This is going along now the old tram road, not linked up to the one on the Thames, which took all the coal trucks years ago down all the way down to Kingston, where they used to load canal barges up and take it down to Avonmouth. Quite interesting history on the commons, the coal mines and all the rest of it. There's a pit just coming into view now. You've got a job to see it now. It's all over green. Right just there. It's all concreted in now, but there is a pit in amongst those trees. Right, going up in a word. These patch of houses are a lot bigger from the air than they look from the ground. I didn't fly over them, and I respect their privacy. It's the old bridge. It hasn't changed much in the last 50 years or more. I didn't realise how close this estate is to that house, but I bet they love that. But there's some lovely houses and cottages over there. I think that's called Firework Close there now. I can remember when he built that. That's the cycle track that takes you down to Wormley Station. The red building on the just off the centre is the old firework factory. There's a better view of the firework factory now. It wasn't a flyover it, but it's Bit of a stretch from where I was. The drone I got, well, you could go 5-6 miles out if I wanted, but by law you have to keep the drone in sight all the time. And it's a bit airy at the best of times flying the drone. Trying to keep it in sight and find out where it is. I remember years ago, just off the centre of the screen, that wall there's a garden there full up with brand new cars, and they were just rotting their way out there for donkey years. Never got the story of those. But it must have been, I don't know, 40, 50 cars over there, it seemed like. All brand new, all just rotting away. Are they climbing back up again? You see where the earlier video was taken to up there, a bit of firm. Just about make out the seat there. In the background of Rockway Hill, where our final film is taken. If anybody wants any stills off his film, I can oblige him. They email me and no charge. I'll try and send you a copy. You contact me on psychoman@gmail.com. Right, that's back to the estate again, hit warmly. Just about make out the pond there. Normally this time it's covered in green algae, but seems to be clear this year. That's the controversial farm up there, what they're going to build on. So that's the start of it. You see the shiny things coming up to the middle of the screen now, up by the skyline. That's out near Yate. That's all these solar panels. That's a Deanery Road. Old tramway path that goes under the bridge and all that. And it's right up and down these humps, a little V in the ground there on our push bikes years ago. There's a lovely properties there, some lovely gardens. Who wouldn't want that house up in the corner? That's lovely, isn't it? I don't want to impose too much on people's privacy, but I think people like to see the gardens. Well, coming down, I think that wraps up that part of the common, and we'll shortly be off to Websey. Right, I'm on my motor bike this day. It's made over various days. Went up Siston Hill, just to give people a view of Siston Hill from the road. Keeping within the speed limits. Deer run out beyond that bush one day and right in front of me. Give me a bit of a scare, but I am aware they're about. Well, this is heading east now down Goose Green. I used to do some garden work for the farmer over there in the house on the left. I cut it out up there and they're pulling in now to Websey. Take off right by the side of the road. You get the skyline right, which makes the lighting better on the grass. I see paths on there I didn't know existed, but you know, I doubt if I'll be able to walk them now. I can't walk far. I got to use electric push bike or mobility scooter. I don't know whether they're building access roads in there, whether it's for the lorries to get in there. Or it may be for the old pit down the bottom while they're doing some work on. I think they're doing it up, opening it up to the public, which would be nice. But these fields here are the first to be built on, I think. Old Church's Deer Driver having a bit of dinner. Right, climb up for a look around. We're facing the old common just now where I first started off. Down the bottom, you see the tower in a minute for the things. Swinging around now to Bridge 8. Excuse the cough. Right at the centre of the picture now is the pit head. The area is full of pit heads around here. One day I was hoping to do a film about them all, but whether I get round to it, I don't know. We'll see. the little community here in these houses. A slightly better view with pit head. See the chimney sticking up. It's been top of it's been rebuilt by the look of it. Houses down the bottom. I think a lot of these are the gypsy community in these houses, not all of them, but some of them. And going in the back, you see the manor house. There's an interesting footpath there I'd like to go along sometime. But by the look of it, there's a gate down there, so I won't be able to get my push bike across there. The push bike's got big fat tyres on, you know, so you don't damage the grass. There's that industrial estate. I think it's Mill Farm. It looks an eyesore on the site, on the common, but I think it's called Progress. I suppose it keeps a lot of people employed. I just have to go out there one day on a bike and have a cam on my chest and have a look ring. When you make out the garage there, see a little bit of green Wormley garage, and it comes down, that's Wormley Church in the middle. Down the London Road. Coming up to the Griffin pub. You got Jarrett's slaughterhouse in the back. There's another view of the pit head. Well, they keep these farms really tidy. Surprising how many houses are there from the road. They don't look many, but there's quite a few there. This house, well, I go back to that. Where the car is now, the house in front of it now, it's a little house. My mother always said when she was a kid, this house was haunted. I don't know the story behind it, but she always said it was a haunted house. Most of this film was filmed in 2025. I think all of it, in fact, 2025. Already brought up through Goose Green. Kingswood in the background. What I look like in 20 years time down here. Well, I'm doing a bit of editing. I don't know if you can hear the rain in the background, but it's a thunderstorm trying to start up out there. That gives me a chance to get in and do some editing. For those of you who don't know the area, all this area is it's the east side of Bristol. It's about 5-6 miles outside of Bristol, UK, United Kingdom. Right, sidetracking up towards the Bridge 8. Going the opposite way, it takes you down into the village of Siston. I have another video I made with Siston, including the manor house. But this film's an hour long now. I can't put all it on there, it gets too long. But if anybody wants a copy of it, they can get in touch with me. Quite happy to share my videos. Well, I got Toghill in the distance. Her mother said there used to be a cycle in the centre of the picture now. There used to be a cycle track there years ago, like a circular track. What they used to do cycle racing on. But trying to find out history of this Siston Common is quite difficult. There's not much online about it. So hopefully I can contribute to it, future generations a little bit. Well, over to Rodway Common now, or Rodway Hill. It used to be called Roadaway Hill, because Oliver Cromwell fought a battle there and he started losing it, so he legged it. And the story goes that he ran into Rodway Manor and hid in the chimney. And they still got his shoes over there now, according to what my mother used to say. The field in the middle of the picture now is a recent addition a couple of years ago. I think it's called the Orchard. Then behind that, slightly to the right, is where all the playing fields are, Siston Park. In the middle of the picture to the left is the Horseshoe Pub. It's coming into view now. This is a new estate. I think it's a Court Farm or something like that. I can remember when it used to be a farm. But it's huge, this place. From the road it looks like, you know, there's a few houses there, but it's actually massive. Then coming into view now, opposite the tip, what you can see there on the roof is all that is Shortwood Golf Course. I think that's marked for development. You can foresee really in the future out there now, linking up with this, it's going to be a huge town there in the future. Right, swinging around to the north now, you're going to get, is it Rodway Technical School? I don't know what it's called nowadays. But we used to call it Rodway Technical School. This is quite a big complex. Once again, you can see the mirrors in the background. All the solar panels out at near 8. Right, this part of the common coming up now is where the fairground used to be. I think they put the rent out so dear they don't bother to come back now, but we do get the occasional circus come in there. This is a path that comes up from the cycle track. And down in those woods you got like a zigzag, it's like a bit like Monte Carlo. There's a huge climb up on a push bike and there's zigzags around. And you can see at the bottom where it joins the cycle track. Off to the right takes you into Bristol, and off to the left takes you down to Wormley. This was taken literally at the end of August 2025. All the grasses sort of dried up. He's trying to get a circuit on with the drone. There is a feature on there how to do it automatic, but I'm trying to be clever, do it myself. It didn't come out too well. You're losing a bit of altitude now, coming down. I'll get to do these circuits one day. It's quite difficult because you've got to push the joysticks into the middle under control and balance it all out. But we'll get there eventually. Right, coming up towards the cliff face now. Down behind these trees there's about 120, 130 foot drop. That's the little brook that goes across there, and that's the little orchard. There is a path that goes through that where you could ease up into the estate. You can take a wheelchair or a push bike along there. It leads out into this estate, which leads out into Carson's Road. Right, that area there is Mansfield Station. Because of the trees, you can't see much of it. They got a chance that perhaps I'll return in the winter and get some better shots of that. You see where the brook is, where it's all green. But the brook the other day was actually dried up. There's hardly any water at all in it at the moment. The hottest summer on record. There's the triangle for the station. I got some pictures there of how it used to be years ago. Well, over the back top of the picture is Charnel. Now, underneath Rockaway Hill, there's hundreds of a big store with hundreds of army vehicles in from the First World War, and it all flooded out underneath there. So the entrance to it was over at Charnel at the back, and they had dynamite it all. The army dynamited the entrance, filled it all in, stopped people going down there getting hurt. There's a big drop off here that goes down to Manor Road. Years ago, we had kids used to get on cardboard and slide down over there. It's like great fun out there. Take picnics with us. And they don't seem to do it nowadays. You could just make out the road just before the bridge. There's the remnants of the old Brings factory. You see how big that village is now? It's huge, isn't it? Well, that's a whole of Rockaway Hill in one shot, practically. This drone can get from one end to the other end in less than a minute. That's the cliffs there, it goes down to the old station. Now, when I was a kid, we used to climb up and down these cliffs. It's just scary and a bit dangerous. And at the bottom down here, used to be a glass canopy over the station. Another view of the old Brings factory. There's Cox's cabinets, what it used to be there with the brown in. Don't know what it is nowadays. bringing the drone back. Well, I hope you find my film interesting. It's my contribution towards the history of our commons. They are going to change over the coming years. At least we got some record of that, how it used to be. A bit of a fly past. There's a drone getting ready for landing. I call the drone Ellie, Elevated Land Investigator. A lot of these drone people got names for the drones, so I thought why not join them. So it's Ellie. And here she comes in for the landing. I am fully licensed to fly this drone. It's not too difficult to get hold of. I'm still learning how to fly the thing. That's a great asset to have. There she is. I'm safe and sound. Alright, hope you enjoyed the film. And I'll see you again soon.